On our broadcast tonight, 2 weeks to go, and we have brand new numbers this evening. Our new poll showing the size of the gap now in this election and the effect Sarah Palin is having on this race. Where were the cops? A new look at how the feds let investment banks run wild and how that helped lead to the current financial crisis. Tip of the spear, an up-close report from the front lines in Afghanistan, a firefight with tragic consequences. And medical mystery, why some Americans are developing Alzheimer's at a higher rate and an earlier age than others. Nightly News begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. We are releasing them tonight here for the first time, and our new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll numbers now show a widening gap for Barack Obama in this snapshot of the U.S. electorate if the election were held today. Our poll shows Obama has opened up a 10-point lead now over Senator John McCain, 52-42. Notably, this shows Obama at over 50% for the first time in our polling. Perhaps more dangerous for the GOP ticket. Most of those polled do not believe Sarah Palin is qualified to be president by a margin of 55% to 40%. We will have more of the new numbers from our poll in just a moment, but it is a notable snapshot. With 14 days to go now, 2 weeks until we elect a new president, it's where we begin tonight. The poll numbers, the Palin factor, and politics today. Here with that, NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
Sarah Palin in Nevada today attacking Barack Obama.
I do want a president who is ready to lead on day one.
Palin started as the spark plug to reignite John McCain's campaign. 7 weeks later, her initial popularity has faded. For the first time, her negatives now outweigh her positives by 9 points, turning Palin into a bigger drag on McCain than George Bush. Fully 1/3 of those questions say Palin raises concerns about McCain's candidacy, compared to 23% who worry McCain would continue George Bush's policies. An attack line for Barack Obama today.
After 8 years of Bush-McCain economics, the pie is shrinking.
The doubts about Palin make it harder for Republicans to exploit Obama's biggest weakness in the poll. 23% say he is too inexperienced. McCain hammered him on that over and over again today.
We don't want a president who invites testing from the world at a time when our economy is in crisis and Americans are already fighting in 2 wars.
But McCain's attacks have occasionally been undercut by Palin, as in this interview with KUSA, answering a third grader's question about the role of the vice president and getting it wrong.
They're in charge of the United States Senate, so if they want to, they can really get in there with the senators and make a lot of good policy changes that will make life better for Brandon and his family and his classroom, and it's a great job, and I look forward to having that job.
That is not what the Constitution says. It specifically says the vice president simply presides over the Senate and has a tie-breaking vote. McCain was campaigning in Pennsylvania, where veteran Democratic Congressman John Murtha recently said racism would hurt Obama.
They had a tough time. You know, there was no question Western Pennsylvania is a racist area.
Murtha later apologized. In our national poll, most people said race was not a big factor. 8% said race was important, and among those people, only 4% said it would make them less likely to vote for Obama. 2% said they'd be more likely to vote for him because of his race. And 4 out of 5 did not think Obama, as president, would support policies favoring African Americans. Harvey Gantt, who lost a Senate race in North Carolina to Jesse Helms 18 years ago, says racial attitudes have indeed changed.
I probably had 4 or 5 white male citizens in this state who come up to me voluntarily. Perhaps they're proud of the fact that they jumped over a broom, so to speak.
In fact, our poll shows that McCain's age, he's 72, is more of an issue than Obama's race. 22% say McCain's age is important to them. Of those, 18%, mostly seniors, say they would be less likely to vote for him because of his age. And with only 2 weeks of campaigning left, Obama is about to leave the trail for 2 days to visit his severely ill 85-year-old grandmother who helped raise him in Hawaii. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
I mentioned we have more new poll numbers tonight, and our NBC News political director, Chuck Todd, is here with those. And Chuck, as one columnist called it, the political shot heard around the world this weekend was Colin Powell endorsing Barack Obama.
Right.
It came halfway through our poll in the field, but we were still able to ask a sizable sample about it, and I know you have those results.
And 4 in 5 voters said it wasn't going to make any difference. But of those that said it would make a difference, most of them said it made them more inclined to support Obama. 19% overall said it would make them more inclined. 4% said it was less inclined. On endorsements, most people usually say it makes no difference, but it does solidify soft voters. But look at this advantages on the issues, Brian. This sort of underscores the 10-point lead for Obama. He leads by 39 on handling health care. He leads by 21 points on handling the economy, by far and away the biggest issue in our poll. 14 points on taxes. This is happening because Obama has been pounding McCain on the airwaves on health care and taxes, saying he's going to tax your health care benefits, and that's why he's got a lead now in that. All that's left for McCain is Iraq.
And what about the intangibles? How the voters are seeing and perceiving these candidates these days?
As we know, they don't always vote on the issues. So in these characteristics, who's the more hopeful and optimistic candidate? That's Obama by 30 points. That's sort of the Ronald Reagan test, right? Who's got the right temperament for the job? That's Obama by 20 points. McCain in temperament has been in the news in a negative light. This obviously showing up in our poll. McCain does lead on who would be a stronger leader, but that lead is only 4 points. Now, more importantly is this enthusiasm number among their voters. Obama, half his supporters say they're excited